Hi YouTube, we are going to be attending another mod for the car. This is more so to fix the factory dislike that I don't like about the car. So when I get in the car sitting position, I really try to use my pedal shifter, but if I'm holding my steering wheel like this, there's only my fingers. Let me see if I get a better angle. It's touching, not fully, and it doesn't sound satisfying for the pedal shifter, right? So it's a really awkward position to hold the pedal shifter, and I really didn't like it. That said, we are replacing the pedal shifter. I don't like those like 3M stick-on ones. That's pedal shifter extender. So we are going to be doing a magnetic extended pedal shifter. Okay, so now we're at the trunk area. You are going to be lifting this carpet right here in order to expose your battery. I'll be right back with another shot. Let me just set this aside. And now that the carpet has been removed, we have unveiled the battery that's under the carpet. Your car should not have these like sound insulation. I put it on aftermarket or afterward I got the car. Just don't be alarmed, yours doesn't look exactly like mine. But the idea right now is going to be removing this nuts right here. I'm pretty sure it's a 10 mil. You use a wrench, a ratchet, doesn't matter with the socket. And then you don't have to loosen it all the way. Just loose enough so that you can wiggle off this negative post right here. And then after I've done that, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks to make sure you're not going to be locked out of your car when the battery is disconnected, because the door locks will not be available anymore after you have disconnected it. I'll just loosen the nuts right here, as I mentioned earlier, with stubby, my favorite, 3/8 ratchet with 10 mil socket, deep socket, so that I can get to that nut over there. Probably can do it with a shallow, but main point being, let me just set aside my ratchet. Main point being so that it's loose enough for you to kind of like wiggle it around. If it's stubborn, you probably want to wiggle it until it comes off, but I'm pretty sure mine is not going to be all that stubborn. And before you do anything else, I am going to pull this aside to like here while I have a disposable rack right here that earlier I used it to do whatever I forgot. It's dirty, so I'm just going to wrap around the actual terminal so that it's insulated from the battery post itself. And ideally I'm just going to tug it somewhere that even if it swings back, it's not going to touch the terminal. Double safety. And of course I have wrapped around the trunk latch like this so that somehow, some way, if someone closes your trunk, you still have access to the trunk and connect the battery again so that your car has power. So I disconnected the battery from the last step. I just set a timer for 30 minutes while I'm going through any potential leaks, any coolant loss, oil loss. I just changed my oil last week. I want to make sure everything is okay. I didn't rush, but would you please appreciate the Ross Racing oil cap breather? That's right there. Looks cool, doesn't it? This is supposed to help alleviate any CCV, so crankcase ventilation underboost. Does it work? I have no idea just yet. I'm just stage 1 tuning anyways. Not really the main point of me being here at the engine bay. I actually want to spark a discussion about this lithium ion battery right here, made by LG. Don't know if you can see it, that's still right there. This is an auxiliary battery to support the main battery at the trunk over there, the AGM battery. This is a really small battery and doesn't hold a lot of charge. I believe the main purpose for its existence is just to support the main AGM battery when, let's say, it doesn't have enough juice to start your car. Then this is when this is going to kick in and perform an AKA emergency start. I believe this auxiliary battery, it's connected to your starter motor and your alternator. So the reason why I'm not going to be disconnecting this because the airbag system is not supported by this lithium ion battery by any means anyways. So I believe this stores some sort of memory, for example, like the seating profile. So that's why I don't want to disconnect this battery, so that it's going to save me some hassle down the road. But if you do want to and be extra sure, you can. Also, same thing, I believe is on this side right here. After you take off this cover with this knob right here, just turn it to unlock position, lift this up, and then same thing, just a 10 millimeter nut that you have to loosen, and then just lift up the terminal from the post, and that's it. You'll disconnect the battery that way. And now that you can see the car has no power going through whatsoever with the dash, I have my pick tool right here with the sharp edge. And now we're gonna move over to underneath the steering wheel. Now you can finally see there is an indented area right here. So next I'm going to poke it through with the sharp end, of course, of the pick to create a hole right here. Airbag is already out. I'm not going to disconnect anything just yet because I want to show you how it works. For video's sake, I'm going to put it back in before I even gonna be doing the pedal shifter. But you can see basically this is how the inside, I guess, for the steering wheel, how it works. And I have my T20 Driver right here. Essentially what you will be doing is that you're poking from the hole underneath the steering wheel. You're poking through here. Let me try to do that. So give you another view. This is how my driver is sitting. That's up in the hole already that I've poked earlier. And it's currently inside of there. You can kind of like wiggle it and then you'll feel it's gone in a little bit like that length. And once you've done that, I'm going to push on my driver like that, and then you see. And that's basically the motion that you need to unclip the airbag from the column, I guess. You do both sides the same way. So for the video's sake, like I said, again, here goes nothing. Make sure I'm not messing that one up, so I gotta use both hands. But here goes nothing. You can see it's currently in place, or back in place. My screwdriver is still in. You will have to apply quite some force. I have been finagling it for like hour and a half maybe, or maybe an hour. It's just simply because I know the screwdriver it's gone in already, but I didn't know what kind of force or strength do I need to push the pin. And to my defense, quite a lot wasn't what I was expecting. It's a metal spring. But again, I'm gonna hold the end like this. You can literally see this side already pop up there already, and I'll have to do the same to the other side. Let's see if I can give you an angle here. So I'm just gonna try to like wiggle it until I feel that it has already gone in. And now I'm gonna use my knee, apply some force, pop. And the airbag is out. Hope this helps. Oh my god, it took me a while. And as you saw earlier, I'm not gonna be, or I haven't disconnected the airbag yet. I'll have to, because I'm gonna have to fish something out from there for the paddle shifter. I'm cold as hell right now. In the garage is like -10 maybe inside the garage. Anyways, point being, there is the wiring harness connection here. I'm just going to use a flathead. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold the camera and do it at the same time. Just a flathead, and then you're going to push down on the connection and then pull this out. Essentially, just imagine my fingernail is a screwdriver, flathead I should mention, and then you just press down on there, and then it's going to be released from that connection over there. And airbags out, put it in an upright position just in case anything goes off. And now the airbag's out, let's take a look at the steering wheel. My voice shaking because it's really cold. Anyways, it's a good time now to take a picture of how it's constructed, and this is the blueprint or wiring connection that we'll have to disconnect. And then there is a bolt behind it, I believe, that we're gonna take it off. Same goes for the other side. It's gonna be the same on the left hand side. Might even be better to demonstrate on the left hand side, but I do have lighting in here, so I'm just gonna do the right side, which is your upshift paddle shifter. You can see there is like a black little bracket here that's holding your connector in place with the slimmer side of the connector. So once you have pulled that off the holder, it is plastic, mind you, so just be careful. There we go. So this connector is currently out, and then it'll reveal what I believe to be a T20, and the paddle shifter is going to be out, but we're going to have to disconnect that. I believe you just yanked this one off, but I'll have to see. For the connection, I was right, you just yank this off. There is nothing for you to press on, yada yada yada, so you just yank this off. Connection is right at the below. I thought it was the one up top, but wrong. It only goes in one way, as you can see, and there is like a little shape sticking out, so don't worry about matching in the wrong way. And now we're just going to undo the T20, and the paddle shifter should come up. I have already undone the T20 nut, and as you can see, the paddle shifter is already falling apart. I think I'm just going to use a magnet to fish the bolt out. Realistically, you don't even have to remove it, but it looks like when I'm pulling the wire out, it may fall out, so I'm just going to use a magnet to stick it. Yes, sir. And then I'll just pull this out. So the old paddle shifter is currently out. Just right here. Set it aside, and then I just left the factory connection over here, so that's not going to interfere when I'm pulling the old one out and then fishing the new one in. But if you go over to the back side, you'll see there's an opening for you to fit the connector back in for the new one, and then we shall see how it works afterward. And I have already reinstalled. Ooh, this sounds satisfying. The new magnetic paddle shifter back in. Everything seems in place. It's not like in the way that I'm holding the steering wheel. I see a room. I still clicks. My God. This is where, when you're reinstalling, this is where your photo is going to shine to tell you how like the wire should be oriented, and that your connector is back in the holder, so that doesn't create any rattle. And the left side for the nylon strips also done. As you can see, both sides I've added electrical tape around the connection, simply because this is an aftermarket unit for the paddle shifter. I don't fully trust it, unfortunately, to say the truth. So it's just an extra insurance for myself. This step I think you can omit and not necessarily required. So it's back into its little holder. Something to note, no one has said it, I believe, on videos yet, that what I can see, the connection for the wiring harness from the new paddle shifter, aftermarket paddle shifter, is a little bit longer than the OEM unit. So you have to tug it strategically so that it's not going to be in the way for anything else, and that you're still able to fit the connector back into its little brackety holder. On to our second last step. I'm holding my airbag right now. Connections clip back in place. You want to make sure there's an audible click, or at least you feel the click. And then lastly, just line it back up somewhere around there, and then you just want to push it back in. Last time I did it pretty much just relatively just force it in. You want to make sure everything lines up first, of course, but just force it in and then push it down a little bit. That should be it. And then I'm gonna connect the battery again. Make sure there's power. Go start the car for a little bit, and then try to go into manual mode and make sure these do work. And then there's no code afterward as well. Hello friends, today is the next day I've got the paddle shifter installed, and I've been driving around with the paddle shifter. You just want to make sure that your dash has no fault code. But as far as our installation goes, you just want to make sure after reconnecting the battery, everything works as they should. So that also includes your BC button. If you have automatic high beam system that's hiding behind there, and then everything in here works, everything in here works, your horn works. Of course, you want to shift into drive and make sure your paddle actually works as well. Goes all the way up. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. This sounds so good, doesn't it? Oh my god. Anyways, so that's it for the installation about the paddle shifter. Really, the hardest part was to pop the airbag out, but once you get a hang of it, you saw earlier, I was struggling for like an hour or so, just trying to figure out, finesse a way for me to get under there, the two probes or channel, I guess. Once you get a hang of it, you saw how I did it. For video's sake, I pop it out already. I pop it back in just to try again. I did it in like less than a minute for both sides, and then take the entire airbag off. So that was the hardest part, but now that I have gained some experience, and you hopefully has learned something from my trial and error as well, should be way quicker for you to figure it out. It just quite some force or strength needed for you to pop the airbag retaining pin out. But overall, I'm really happy with the installation, at least after the installation of the paddle shifters. Sounds good, feels good. It's more one of those mods that gonna elevate your driving experience in general as a whole. There is not like gonna be like making you shifting faster, increases 0 to 60 time, but like it's like self-satisfactory mod. There are one of the best, even, I would say. So stay tuned for other videos. Currently I have a dash cam unordered, or actually also in my room currently. I think I'll get them installed the next time I have time. But yeah, hopefully you learned from my mistake how to pop the airbag out. Once you got that off, just a piece of cake for you to replace the paddle shifter.